Echoes in the Night. Written by Richard Jordan. Thomas and Percy were helping the workmen improve parts of the branch line. They were hard at work installing a gate at Crow's Farm Crossing. They were making good progress, but Percy was feeling hot and bothered.
I need a rest, it's too hot,
he complained. Thomas was losing patience. All summer, Percy had complained about one thing or another, and Thomas had had enough. Up ahead was the old windmill, which gave Thomas an idea.
Maybe you should rest now and help the workmen tonight,
said Thomas.
Oh, yes, that's a great idea,
Percy smiled.
Please, can I?
Well, that's fine with us, said the foreman. We'll expect you back at sunset. Later that evening, Percy came to relieve Thomas.
Good luck, Percy,
Thomas started.
but I would be careful if I were you. There are spirits about when the sun goes down over the windmill. Stuff and nonsense,
Percy frowned.
It's true, Percy,
Thomas insisted.
At night you can hear the wails of the spirits inside.
He glanced at the horizon.
No, not much time until sundown,
Thomas said, shivering.
I'm getting out of here. But wait,
Percy shouted, but Thomas had already bounded into the distance. The work continued well into the night. All the while, Percy glanced up at the old windmill, which creaked with the wind, its arms moving ever so slightly, illuminated by the pale moonlight. Suddenly, Percy heard an eerie wailing coming from inside the windmill. It echoed across the valley.
But what was that?
Percy yelped. I'm not sure, said his driver. Neither am I, added the fireman. It's probably the wind. But the sound came again, this time louder.
Oh, a spirit!
Percy cried and charged forward straight into the workman's van, which knocked some of the trucks off the rails and left Percy's front badly scraped. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt came to see what had happened. You'll have to go to the works to be mended, he said. Thomas will take your place with the night crews.
But sir, the windmill,
Percy began. That's enough, Percy, Sir Topham Hatt boomed, and walked to his car. Thomas snickered.
What are you laughing at?
Percy fumed.
It was a joke, Percy,
laughed Thomas.
There's no spirits in the windmill. But there are. I heard them.
We'll see, Thomas said. Later that night, Thomas and the workmen were putting the finishing touches on the new crossing gate. Thomas looked up at the windmill and laughed.
Poor gullible Percy.
But as he was getting ready to leave, an eerie sound came from nearby. That sounded as if it was coming from inside the windmill, said Thomas's driver. We'd better take a look. The driver and fireman walked up to the old windmill and peered inside. Thomas was alarmed to see them running back a few moments later. We've got to leave right now, said the fireman. Come on! Thomas and the workman's train left in a hurry. Thomas looked back at the old windmill, only to see a golden light coming from one of the windows and a black figure on the hill. Thomas was more afraid than he had ever been before and rushed back to the sheds, where he hid, his eyes glued shut. The next day, he caught up with Percy at the crossing.
Did you have a good night?
Asked Percy.
Did you hear the spirits?
Thomas gulped. Then the eerie sound from the night before came again. Thomas jumped. A figure emerged from the windmill and walked towards them. Thomas was surprised to see that it was Farmer Crow with a bundle in his arms. He opened the bundle to reveal several small puppies. Thomas's crew suddenly burst out in laughter. "There's your spirits, Thomas," his driver said. "These puppies were crying in the night, probably hungry," Farmer Crow said. "Your crew and I found them last night and decided to turn this little joke round on you, Thomas. Oh, but after the lime and these puppies, I think I'm done with your ghost stories." Thomas's face burned hot red in embarrassment. He was certain that there wouldn't be another ghost story for a long, long time.